What's going on YouTube? Darksword255 here, where the numbers may be randomly generated, but the content itself is not. And we are going to be going over a guide for a mythical champion that I said that I was going to make a guide for, but I've been lazy and I just haven't. Lazy, distracted, busy, whatever the terminology is. There's a lot of stuff in 2026 that has been on the horizon, so I've been a little bit busy with that. But like I said, we're going to be making a video guide on Theodosia here. Now, I have really not seen a lot of guides on her. They're very dated and they don't really dive into really how to utilize her, where to utilize her. So in this video, hopefully I can bring a pretty basic understanding of where to use her. I love my Theodosia. Actually, I'm going to be rebuilding her soon, but that's not the point. We're going to go over her kit, guys, where to use her, masteries, relics, so on and so forth, guys. So if you have not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe. I post raid content daily, or at least 5 days a week, depends on, you know, my workflow. Regardless, guys, like I said, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you guys have a Theodosia. Do you guys hate fighting her in arena? If you guys are, you know, at the other upper escalons, or did you just pull her and you have no idea what she does or where to do? Let me know down in the comments, guys. To become part of my team, click the link in the description right now to get Elenaril for free, as well as 3 more amazing epic champions as you level up. Here's how you do it. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall it. Click the link in the description, register with a brand new email, launch raid, and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on this chance to get a free Elenaril along with 3 epics as you progress through raid. Click on my link right now and let's get started. Alrighty, guys, so let's go over her kit first. She's an awesome champion. So first of all, character design, look at this. Like, sheesh, you know what I mean? Like, Raid does a great, look at that blade. Oh, anyways, she's awesome. Mythical champion. Every time I watch a ranking video, everybody wants to, like, people say, oh my God, she's awesome. And then also, like, on the flip side, people are all like,
no, I think that she's garbage.
I think she's awesome, mainly because I own her. Kidding. Her A1 attacks one enemy, heals all enemies by 5% of this champion's max HP. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5 per each ally alive. So 5 times 4 is math. And by an additional 2.5 per each alive enemy. So there you go. You know, do the math right there. Bam. Crazy turn meter and healing for her just on her A1. Well, granted, like I said, you're speeding yourself up, but the healing is for everybody else on your team. Her A2, which is awesome, removes all debuffs from all allies, then places a perfect veil on them except for this champion for 2 turns. Places a stone skin buff on this champion for 1 turn. Stone skin, that champ, like, you know, that are like abilities like that are not as good as actual organic stone skin, but they're still meh. You know, it's still pretty good. They're gonna, you know, she's gonna have to be focused, and the stone skin will be able to absorb some damage. And AOE abilities, because of the perfect veil, are gonna be lessened, so you take less AOE damage, meaning that if people are hitting you, you know, you block it. Her A3 revives all allies with 50% HP and turn meter. Really important to call that out. Then places an unkillable buff on all allies for 2 turns. So if you revive 1, your entire team, as you know, as long as you revive 1, your entire team gets unkillable. Amazing. Her passive every 7 turns equalizes the HP of all allies. The HP levels of all allies will be brought to the average HP on the team. Allies will receive 1% less damage for every 2% of HP loss. It stacks up to 25%. If there are multiple, okay, that you can't do, this will not activate for duplicate damage. Yeah. So her base form, amazing, right? Really good. Moving on to her, you know, ascended form. Her A1 attacks one enemy, destroys the target speed by 3. And it so basically stacks up for like prolonged fights. You're stacking up to 30. Insane. Decrease the target's turn meter by 5 per each alive ally and an additional 2.5. So basically the inverse, right? It's the same thing with the turn meter, but instead of boosting this champion's turn meter, you're hindering the turn meter of the champion. Like basically who you're A1ing. Pretty strong. For A2 attacks all enemies before attacking. This is really important, guys. Before attacking, steals all buffs from the enemy. Places a block buff and a decreased defense debuff on all allies for 2 turns. If the enemy's speed is lower than this champion's, these debuffs are protected, meaning they cannot be stripped. So if you are going against somebody in arena and you are faster, you are putting protected debuffs on every single person. First of all, you're stealing all of them, all their buffs. Stone skin, protection, doesn't matter. Stolen. If you have faster speed, then places the, well, again, you also have to have the accuracy, right? You have to have the accuracy to land this first of all, but you know, that's important. You know, you need the speed and the accuracy to land it. But if you do land it, they're protected if you're first. Insane. Now, her A3 places a sleep debuff for 1 turn and a decreased speed for 2 turns on all enemies. If this enemy speed is lower than this champion's, the decreased speed debuff will be protected. Insane. Then decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 25%. So you guys can see you can maybe envision all the different areas of the game that she could be really, really strong in. And she has the fastest base speed aura in the game, which is 25% everywhere. 25%. She's an awesome champion. Now, again, depends on where you want to use her. She's very similar to Lazarius here, that you have 2 different forms. You have, you know, for Lazarius, you have your base form, which is a support, then your alternate form, which is attacking, right? Now, with Theodosia here, you have basically PvE versus PvP mode for her, right? You can utilize obviously them, you know, back and forth depending, but you know, obviously how you want to build her and which form you're really going to be harping on depends on where you use her in the game. So what I did is I have her, if you're, you know, your enemies die, she's reviving. She gets more turn meter. More people are dead, the faster that she goes to get that revive off, right? Super, super important. Right now, I'm using her mainly in PvE. I do use her in PvP because of how I have her built in the stats, right? Like my stats, for example, 300 speed, 400 accuracy. Very good speed and accuracy for the most part. I also have her in really high resist because I was using her for fun to test out in Chimera for fun. Basically lowering the speed of Chimera, also lower, you know, putting those permanent debuffs on so the trials cannot be, you know, can't be slowed. You know, just experimenting with her. She's great in both areas of the game. It depends on really what area of the game you're really struggling with, right? But with her, if you want to use her in PvP, you really want her to be as fast as possible with high accuracy. Like in PvP, this is too slow. This is too slow. Now, if you want those buffs to be protected, that they can't be stripped, she needs really, really fast speed, high accuracy. If you can't get her to be really, really fast, then the high accuracy is what you want, right? Because again, this A2 that she's stripping all buffs and then placing the block buffs and the decrease, having her go like second to be a buff stripper and also putting down that decreased defense and like after stripping, very huge. You know, in a perfect world, you would have her as fast as possible. You know, my fastest champion is it is 400 speed. I would have her, you know, 400 speed, 600, 700 accuracy, right? Realistically, you know, if I'm going to use her more in PvP, which I'm going to end up reverting, like changing her, I'm going to get rid of this resistance. I'm going to up her accuracy and try to get her as, you know, as fast as possible because like, again, those protected buffs are really good. There's so many champions in this game that are putting down, like, for example, like protected block buffs. Now, if you can go before them and you're stripping and then putting down these buffs, amazing. She's very good in PvP. Again, underutilized. But if you're building it for PvP, you can also use her in PvE. Like, again, right now, I'm using her in PvP. I'll show you guys what I have. Now, relics. Now, again, it depends on like really where you want to use her. If you're using her in PvP, wand of submission. I feel like that's a very default. You just don't want her to get cheaped, right? Star. Also, Star is just good for everybody, right? Star is pretty good. You can also use a molten core just to give yourself an extra, you know, a bit of a shield. You know, protect your team just even more. If you don't have any of these crazy mythicals, which most people don't, or even let's just say you only have one wand, and even if you don't have one wand, what you do is, again, if you want more accuracy, then we can go with a molten bell here. If you want more turn meter, go with a journal, right? Again, you know, this is a really good rare relic, right? Because you're the wearer is healing 15% more to all of your allies with her A1 in her base form. And then she's getting an additional 15%, you know, turn meter boost plus all this. So she, with this, would basically be getting crazy turn meter. So those are just some pretty easy relics that you can kind of go with. Masteries, I'm using her in for like PvP and PvE. Temporal Chains is great. I don't have a high mastery for her. Sheep is good for high mastery. Basically your basic support blessings for her. If you're using her in PvP, I would say Brimstone, to be honest, Brimstone. Now, how I'm using her right now, I am using her, of course, like my ugly mug is blocking this battle. So what we're going to do, like, again, I have two options, right? So we are going against, you know, this stupid Head of Torment. I could immediately drop this, put the perfect veil on all my guys, and then I don't have to worry about the fear. But just to showcase the protected buffs and how I love them. Look at this, boom. Look at that. Protected, protected, protected. Mwah. Just a chef kiss, right? Really, really nice. Really, really nice. And then again, you know, we can put the protected decrease speed down. So for like my teams like this, like I don't have a taunt champion. Like I'm not using a taunt champion. So like if I'm able to put down these protected debuffs, then even when the head of decay goes and does this strip, right? It's not, you can't, like, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Of course, she gets feared when I want to showcase the decreased speed, but whatever. You guys have an idea of why she's so good in like Hydra, for example. Like I said, even if you're like rotating through these different things, right? Like if you're rotating form to form, form to form, form to form, you can do that pretty easily. She's really good. She's good in PvE. Also, you know, in PvP, she's also very good. Again, I use her in live arena. I use her in Siege. I use her in tag team. Again, I don't have her 100% utilized, like, you know, built properly for PvP right now, guys, but just to kind of showcase like what, you know, you can see here. All right, we're going to strip everybody, or almost everybody. Oh, this is, well, just to showcase, because my communist is faster. Again, you know, well, that guy's dead. Basically, bam, we're going to transform. We're not, I mean, we're only going to be able to put the block, the protected blocks buffs on 2 people because we're slightly faster. Like really good, right? Like, bam. Now, you know, especially Leo, right? Especially Leo. I think he's going to die right here, yeah. His passive gives him the stone skin. Now you can't do it. You're not dropping stone skin down now, right? You can't do it. Watch this, watch, bam, sleep. Oh, turn meter reduction. Again, if you gotta have to build her differently, but this is so you can kind of understand how she works. Now, like I said, there are champions. Ew, what is, like, disgusting. This team is really gross. Oh, Theodosia in particular, like I really like using Theodosia against, what's her name? Her. She is, she's so annoying. Places block buffs on all allies for 1 turn at the start of the round. And when basically when you drop below a certain amount of HP, it gets put back on. But with those protected buffs, they can't be stripped. They can't be put on. They can't be put on. Also, she's great against mythicals like Siegfried, right? Because when he gets knocked down and he comes back, he doesn't have the block damage. Awesome. Basically, anybody who has a really annoying A passive like that, she's really good at like making sure that those buffs those debuffs cannot be stripped. Again, she's a great buff stripper, great turn meter manipulator. Kind of depends on where you want to use her in the game. Again, I really haven't seen anybody kind of do like a dive into her. You can make her around a bunch of different teams. Like I said, I've tried building her in Chimera. She's just okay in Chimera. She's just another champion that you can use. I would say that she's nothing really to write home about in Chimera. Hydra, she's really good, you know, and obviously in PvP. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have not already liked, subscribed, make sure to subscribe, guys. Join me on this journey throughout Raid Shadow Legends, and I will see everybody in the next one.